friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. For today's video, we are going to be getting the results of my week 3 budget. We're also going to fill in my weekly check-in. I have my expense tracker here that I filled out with you all in my expense tracking video. So if you missed that and you want to hear me kind of do a rundown of everything I spent for the week, make sure you check out that video. I'll be referencing this expense tracker to fill in my actual totals here, as well as to fill in my weekly check-in. So this video should be relatively short. I've got everything kind of prepared and ready to go, so let's get into it. Alright, so starting out here in my checking account section, I had just a couple of bills. You guys know I do a color coding system and I write my bills in blue, so I'll just be looking for the blue highlighter here when I go to put in my actual amounts. You can see I did the budgeted amounts when I set up my budget. Now we're going to go in and fill in the actual amounts. If I'm under budget, I will use black. If I'm over budget, I'm going to use... I guess I'll use this red by Erin Condren because that's the first red pen I saw. Hopefully we don't even have to touch that red pen and we'll be good to go, but we shall see. So the first item on my little list here is Planet Fitness. I budgeted $10, so I just find it here on my expense tracker and I can see that the amount that I actually spent was $10. So we're good there. Audible is $25, so again I'm going to look, find Audible, and that amount was actually only $23, so we're under budget there. I did not have anything unbudgeted this week, so that's good news. So I don't even need to pull in my pretty low cock calculator here to see that the amount that I spent was $33. That's the amount listed here as well. Doing my expense tracking ahead of time makes this budget results process super easy. Honestly, I probably could combine the two into just one video. However, the expense tracking takes so long that video is already lengthy enough, I think. Let me know what you guys think. One combined video, 2 separate videos. It's all the same amount of editing for me, so it doesn't really matter. Just let me know what you guys want to see. Trying to figure out how I'm going to be posting things in the new year, so I'd love your feedback. Alright, so the checking section was $33. I'm going to go ahead and write that in here at the total because we were under budget, so we'll have a little bit of wiggle room here, but just a couple of dollars. Alright, this cash envelope section's already filled in because the amount that I budgeted is the amount that I set aside from this paycheck to cover all of my bills and expenses, or all of my cash envelopes rather. So we'll go into what I actually spent in these categories when I fill in my weekly check-in, which will also be in this video. But for now, we're going to skip this section and move on to the extra debt section. Skipping right over sinking funds because again we're only doing sinking funds one time a month. You guys will be seeing my sinking funds video at the end of this month. I'm pretty darned excited about it. So that brings us here to extra debt. I planned to pay $170 to my Chase card. That's written in here in gray. You can see I did indeed pay that $170, which is awesome. Seeing this balance go down week by week has been so satisfying. I think we're definitely going to meet our goal of paying that off by the end of the new year if things continue on the way that they've been going. I'm really excited about that. I'm really proud of myself for setting that goal and making steps towards it. It feels really good. So the income amount that we were working with is $965. That's not my husband's paycheck total, that's just the amount of money we were working with when I pulled money from these various sources, plus a few others. Cash envelopes, we did set aside $350. We didn't set aside anything from this budget for sinking funds. I actually did set some money aside, but I pulled that off the top. I don't write that in because I want you guys to be surprised when you see how much money I put into my sinking funds at the end of the month. I keep getting like hyped up comments in the comment section like, can't wait to see that, it's going to be so awesome. Hopefully I haven't set you guys' expectations too high. We'll see. And then for extra debt, it was $170. So the income total was $965. We only spent $33 on bills, $350 went to cash envelopes, that $170 went to extra debt, which means we actually had $412 to roll over into next week. So that all went easy peasy, super smooth, no red ink. We're gonna have some red ink though in the weekly check-ins. So let's go ahead and pull the weekly check-in page. And we'll talk about, first of all, we'll write in what we added. So if you're not familiar with the weekly check-in, this is what I use to keep track of my actual spending. When it comes to my paycheck budget, this is the amount of cash that I pulled out of that budget to account for these expenses. I stick it in an envelope and I use it throughout the week. If I have any left over though, I roll it over week to week. So while I only took $200 out of this paycheck, I had more than that to work with because I had a starting balance in there. The amount that I had remaining at the end of last week is my starting balance for this week. So I started with $26 already in my envelope, and then I added $200 to my food envelope, which gave me a total of $226 to work with for the week. So that's why I do the weekly check-in. It's a little bit of a different system for me. I just recently started doing it this way. I understand it's a little confusing for some of you. I've gotten some comments that are like, all of this explaining is confusing me. I apologize if it's confusing, but that's what I've been doing and it's been working for me, even if it's slightly confusing to explain. So $226 is the amount that I had in my envelope for food. You can look here on my expense tracker. All of these yellow transactions are food transactions, and you can see that I actually spent $236. So you can do the math. I'm over budget by a little bit. So 26 is what we started with. We added 200, but we spent 236, which leaves me with a balance of negative 10. So we are over budget in this area by negative $10. That means we're going to start out week 4 with a negative number. So when I add my $200 for week 4, I'm actually only going to have $190 to work with for the week. But we're still going to take $200 out of week 4's budget. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if it does. It does to me. I guess that's really all that matters, as long as I understand my budget process. All right, so then we have my spending. I started out the week with $8. That's what I had remaining from last week. I added $40. You can see it right here. So that means I started out with a total of $48. Guess what? We're using the red pen again because I spent $98. I knew, though, when I made the decision to buy the items from my Stitch Fix box, which is what I used my spending money for, that it was going to put me over budget, and I decided that in order to kind of pay this overage back, I was going to not take spending money for the rest of November and even into December if that's what it takes. So I started out with $8. I added $40. I spent $98, which means I'm at negative $50. So it's going to take me a couple of weeks then to get myself back to zero. So negative $50. No bueno, but again, I kind of knew that was going to happen. I made the decision that I was okay with it. So that $50 is going to sit on a credit card until I, catch myself back up and put that money back. So as long as I don't spend any money on myself in week 4 or week 5, although technically I think I've decided I'm not going to do week 5 in November because the paycheck date is the 30th of November. So primarily that money's going for the first week of December. Typically, I would say to myself that if the paycheck lands on a date in November, then I'm going to count it as a November paycheck. However, I think I'm going to count this as a December paycheck because I need to wrap up my end of the month stuff before November ends, because I have so many videos coming out in December with Vlogmas that I want to get all of my month-end stuff out in November. So I think technically I'm going to count this 30th as the first paycheck in December, just so I can close out my November budget and get that done a little bit early. So, short story long, I'm going to have to take less spending money the first week of December, or this payday, the payday on the 30th, to catch myself back up and cover that overage. I'm talking too much. I'm over-explaining. This is why people are saying they're confused, because I talk too much. Alright, gas is a little bit more straightforward. For gas, I started with $45. I added $40. So we started out strong with $85 in my gas envelope. We only spent $41 in gas. So we have lots of money left over in gas, which is nice, that we can roll over to next week. So 45 we had in there, plus 40 minus 41, so we still should have $44 remaining in my gas envelope. And then for miscellaneous, I started out with $11. We added $20 for a total of $31. And how much did we spend? We spent $10. So again, this is all good. We spent $10, so we have $21 remaining in my miscellaneous fund. So could I take this $61 that are left in my envelopes and cover this overage here and start fresh in week 4? Yeah, I could totally do that. I've done that in the past. Just kind of balance everything out, start fresh with a new week. I'm not going to do that this time because this is my spending, and I shouldn't get away with spending more than I had in my spending envelope just because I have leftover money in gas and miscellaneous. That seems like cheating to me, so I'm not going to do that this time. I might do that when it comes to food, the end of week 4, if I'm over budget, so that I can meet my goal for November of, where's my goals page? So I can meet my goal of spending $1,000 or less on food. I might do that and cheat that a little bit, because it would feel really good to check that goal off. But we're not there yet. We'll see. I'm going to have $190 for this 4th week of November to do food. That should be plenty. I'm getting ahead of myself though, so let's not do that. So the moral of the story here is I overspent in food, I overspent in my spending, but we still have money left over to roll over for gas and miscellaneous. So that's the weekly check-in. That's gonna do it then for my video, where I rambled a lot and over-explained things and probably confused you. Leave me a comment down below if I confused you. I apologize. So that's it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I really find these videos super motivating for me. It helps me keep on track. I love filming them and sharing them with you, so I hope that you're enjoying them. If you are, give them a thumbs up so that I know. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single week. I'd love to have you come back, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!